What's up, comic book fans? Pete here from Comic Books Transformed, where me and my good friend Brian over there talk about adaptations from comic books into movies and streaming shows. Today, we are up to episode 6 of Fallout. And, it's been around for a while, but we've been doing episode by episode. And Brian and I usually like to do a little Fallout Shelter recap. Are you still playing, Brian?
Of course.
Okay. How many dwellers do you have?
Oh, I'm up to 94 now.
Nice.
As you know, I've been kind of getting everybody's stats up all the way, even though you probably only need to do one or two. I did every stat for everybody. And I have no. I don't have everybody all that. I have probably 20 or 30 dwellers with full stats now.
Okay.
So
how long does it take for them to get leveled up when they run those rooms?
Each stat takes a lesser amount. Like the lower the stat is, the less time it takes. So one going from 0 to 1 or 1 to 2, whatever the lowest is. I don't know if the lowest is 0 or 1. The lowest is like a little over an hour, depending on the quality of the room. And then the highest to go from 9 to 10 is 17 hours.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it takes a while. I have 1 or 2 more people that are just about there.
Yeah.
And I'm cycling in new people now and expanding and pretty sure about my Nuka-Cola factories go rolling. So
nice, man. I upgraded one of my Nuka-Cola factories to the level 3, the highest level. That was kind of fun. Yep. And I upgraded my overseer station to level 3, so I could send 3 missions out at a time.
Nice.
Quests or whatever. Yeah. But I did a little research on the Fallout franchise too, and I watched this really good video where they talked about every single game from the beginning to now, and it's interesting how much the game has changed since it first came out.
Yeah, because it was they couldn't do those first person 3D games back when they first came out, so that's been a huge difference, really. And then the shifts between 3 and 4 even, and then the shift between 4 and 76 is different. It's almost like different kind of games. Well, not different kind of games. 4, they have your character talks, and there's all these differences, and then 3 has 76 has that whole MMO sort of feel to it.
Yeah,
not exactly.
Yeah, and also it's gone through different studios, even though some of the people from certain studios have kind of carried over, but it's been different studios now. It's at Bethesda now, which is the company that put the show out too.
Yeah, Bethesda's been with it the most, but everyone always loves New Vegas, which was made by Obsidian.
Right.
So yeah, everyone always wants them to do another one, but who knows? I installed that once. I got it on a Steam sale. I installed it and all the DLC, and I got to the opening room and I got bombarded by quests and missions and shit. And I was like, "That's too much. I'm done." Which is weird for me because I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But,
have
never went back.
Have you ever played the Fallout Shelter? That's a multiplayer game where you can compete with other people?
No.
I don't know if it's even released in the US. The guy was talking about it, and I think he said it was in Japan. But I don't know if you could play it in the US too. But I always thought that'd be kind of a fun idea because you can compete with other people with how good you can make your shelter become, and then also you can go into other people's shelters and raid their shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
A lot of games follow that style, but I hate that raiding stuff because you got to stay so on top of it. And I just don't I feel like that. I played the Transformers Earth Wars. It's another very long-standing game, and I go back to it every once in a while. But it's just people constantly. It's so grindy, all these games. I got a nice, simple, relaxing game sometimes.
Yeah, because our lives can be pretty fucking stressful.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, especially about having one of the most popular YouTube channels and podcasts out there. We just
it's hard being at the top. It's people are. I got photographers outside my house.
Yes, exactly. The paparazzi. Yeah. So, going back to the show, we've talked about how they don't seem to be able to have all 3 characters in one episode, or at least for the past few episodes. But this episode, we actually had all 3 of the main characters. And we actually had 4 stories because we had the Ghoul, but then we also had his backstory a little bit with Cooper Howard too.
Yes, and this was probably my favorite section in this episode.
Mm-hmm,
I love the kind of lead up to the bombs dropping in. They're kind of leading us down a path on who dropped the bombs and why. I think it's starting to lean towards Vault-Tec doing it.
Yeah.
So I mean, that seems like it's where it's going. But I really like, the parallels between this and like communism, sort of. Like
Okay.
Cooper calls out his friend for going to commie meetings, but he's really just going to these meetings that are trying to expose Vault-Tec and what they're doing. And that whole analogy about the cattle ranchers are outnumbering the sheriff, so they're running the show. Like, I thought that was really interesting stuff.
Yeah. It's like this weird kind of alternate reality where you're having like the Cold War, but instead of being this like communist scare, there's this idea of like corporations, specifically Vault-Tec, making profit off of the end of the world.
Yeah.
Like they bring up that term. There's this one Native American actor that worked with Cooper, and he brings up this term fiduciary responsibility. And he talks about how like Vault-Tec, their whole profit is based on the idea of the world ending. So it's in their best interest for the doomsday to occur.
Yeah. No, that's where that cattle rancher analogy came from, is that conversation in the bar.
Yeah.
So that was great. And then we also get led to Cooper goes to the meeting. We also see that he's kind of having disagreement with his wife, who works for Vault-Tec, and you really see kind of both sides in a way. She feels that it's she's fearful of the end of the world. Not like she's trying to get to it. She's expecting it to happen and she's trying to prepare for it. But there definitely is some kind of line somewhere where this company is pushing it towards that instead. So.
You froze. Brian, you froze. So she's trying to what? Say it one more time.
Oh, so she basically is defending Vault-Tec because she's trying to she's preparing for the end of the world, like it's an inevitability, where it feels like the company is pushing towards it.
Yes. Yeah, she makes that comment about how they're trying to get like into the best vaults. So there's like the idea that like, there's the everyone is equal, but some people are more equal than others. I think that's from like Orwell or something. Yeah. But the idea that like you think the apocalypse is coming, so you want to just have the best scenario for yourself. It's a kind of a really nihilistic kind of way of thinking.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's a survivability thing too. I can see that point of view.
Oh, of course. Yeah, she wants what's best for her family. I really like that because when you get introduced to his wife, it almost is like too much. Like it's almost like, oh, look how happy he was, and he had this beautiful wife, and obviously it's gonna suck when it's all taken from him. But they add these layers to where it's like, well, she's trying to get them into a vault. He has all this history with Vault-Tec. I think it's like a much more complex show than I initially thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, it is.
So you have like, go ahead.
Oh, don't forget too that the opening scene here is a down on his luck Cooper, and then we see the bombs being dropped here, and then we get all those layered stuff about his life afterwards too. So I think showing it out of sequence like that is really adds to the depth of it.
Yes, it kind of reminds me of Lost with the flashbacks, because the flashbacks weren't always in sequential order.
Yeah.
With a show like this, there's always this focus on the special effects and the set design and stuff for this post-apocalyptic world, but to have a sequence where there's like a big elaborate Hollywood party and stuff like that costs a lot of money too, and that's a lot of directing. I actually really liked the sequence where there was a party at Cooper's house, and he's, or I don't know, was it at his house?
It was his house, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and he's just kind of like walking around, kind of meeting in with everybody, and then all of a sudden he runs into good old Matt Berry.
Yes, I was so happy to see this.
Yeah,
and it's great that they attached a real person to the voice of the Codsworth kind of robot, and it's just always great to see Matt Berry. Even if Matt Berry sounds exactly the same and everything, whatever it is, it's such a great thing to see that I don't care. I don't care if it's repetitive, if anybody has that, if anyone even thinks that. I don't know, but I'm always happy to see Matt Berry in anything.
Yeah, Sherry doesn't really know anything about him, but he showed up in an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and she felt like that was the best part of the season, was just Matt Berry being on the show.
I'm gonna have to look at that episode because I'm curious.
Yeah, yeah. So he's kind of going along with this idea too of like, hey, the future is actually like survivability or like products for the end of the world. So he's already kind of bought into this whole mindset too.
Yep.
Yeah. So while this is going on, we're also jumping forward to the future too, and we're seeing what's going on with Lucy and Maximus in Vault 4. And it looks like your prediction was right.
Yes. So there's some weird stuff going on the floor. We do see a Cyclops Chris Parnell here, and among several other mutated people here. And I guess really this they're focusing in or subtly hinting at test subjects here. So when in the opening of the episode, when you see Cooper giving the commercial thing about Vault-Tec, you do see the sign. They kind of hang on it for a second. It's not directly in view, but they hang on it on the screen. It says test subjects, and we see that same line above the door where Lucy and Maximus are initially kept.
Yeah, I have to say that like the stuff with the dwellers in 4 was like a bit more sinister than a lot of the other stuff that we'd seen. In the previous episode, or maybe even 2 episodes back, there was stuff with like ghouls being kept in that like that Walmart, and the idea of like them losing their identity, and then you would the ghoul just kind of killed off a couple of them. Lucy killed off one of them. That's dark stuff. But in this, the idea of like there's these horrible experiments going on while everyone's also trying to be all upbeat and positive in the vault. It's this like juxtaposition that's very jarring.
Yeah. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, or let me know how you interpreted this, but did the video Lucy watched, was that a woman giving birth to some kind of fish that then proceeded to eat her after?
Yeah. Truly fucked up. Like I've watched a lot of fucking horror, for my other channel and stuff. But whenever they do weird stuff with like pregnant women, where like a woman's pregnant and something attacks the baby, or like the baby comes out and attacks somebody, or all like that shit just bothers me a lot.
Yeah, I agree here. And, I had mentioned in previous episodes that, not all the vaults were great and Vault-Tec was kind of sus.
Yeah.
But
you said sus.
That's I did awesome. Say sus. I did. I get my Gen Z lingo in. Yeah. But I thought the experiments would end up being more kind of like psychological or sociological, and not like blatantly like genetic experimentation like this.
Yeah. It was kind of over the top, and I'm really worried about Lucy. We only have 2 more episodes left, so hopefully we'll get her out of there. You keep talking about how you think there's going to be a death claw showing up. I'm thinking that like there might be one in that level 12.
Yeah, there might be one in there. And also, this is jumping around to the other storyline, but when the ghoul was looking at that wall of like wanted posters, there was pretty clearly a super mutant drawn on there. So I'm wondering if one of them will show up too at some point. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh, okay. So there's super mutants too, besides death claws and rad roaches and all that shit?
Super mutants are kind of like almost like orcs in a way.
Okay.
They're just like big, huge, like stupid things.
All right. Well, before we get to that scene with the ghoul that you're talking about, let's just talk about Vault 4 a little bit more. Chris Parnell is playing that Cyclops.
Yes.
And he seems kind of pleasant and unassuming, even though he's got that eye. And, Lucy and Maximus don't really know how to react at first. But then he has this conversation with Lucy, and he's a real dick.
Yeah, he's talking about the people that are from, what do they call them, Surfies?
Yeah.
It was interesting, though, because like they do seem pleasant, and we do see some of the people from the Surfies being pleasant. And then we see this weird cult thing that the surfer people are doing. I don't know what the hell is going on with the idea behind that.
Yes.
And it's weird. Like you see somebody else make a comment like, I don't want to get involved in that weird, like rambunctious shit or something. He says something weird.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how the other people that were in the vault tolerate that and why. Like, I'm curious as to see what the power struggle is in this vault. Like, is Ben really in charge? Is Birdie in charge?
Mhm.
Secretly. And then what is the connection to Moldaver, or what do they call it, the Flame Queen?
Something like that. Yeah,
Something like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, did you call her Birdie? Is that the brunette woman that is talking to Lucy?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. You could tell she was kind of sinister just right off the bat. You're like, oh, there's something
Yeah.
going on with her.
I was waiting for them to reveal some genetic defect or some mutation with her, but they haven't yet.
Yeah. So the scene that you're talking about is at the very end, before Lucy goes to level 12, where she goes to the ceremony. The majority of the vault dwellers are in this common area, and they're kind of going through a ritual. And they keep talking about how like the blood is gonna reset something, and then they talk about one of the funniest things is they start kind of like putting ash on people's faces, and they put it on Lucy, and she's actually into it at first. And then they're like, the ashes of the fallen, we wear them to remember them. And then Lucy's like, oh shit.
No shit.
Yeah, but I think even before she gets the ashes put on her, everyone just starts getting naked.
Yeah, they start stripping their vault suits off. I guess nobody wears underwear in this future. And then they start pouring blood on each other too. So it's like real creepy.
Yeah. And I thought that Ella Purnell was going to get naked. Like she was on Yellow Jackets, and I think she was in like one kind of sex scene. Like she didn't have sex, but sexual stuff was going on. And I think there might have been one other scene like that with her. And I was thinking that she was going to get naked, but then she just kind of like pulled down her collar a little bit.
Yeah, I think she didn't really know what was going on. But it's funny though, because she was like all ready to just jump on Maximus earlier.
Yes. And you know what? I think that was actually like the thing with the mother giving birth to the fish that ate her was the most disturbing. But like kind of the most shocking thing was how Maximus just said the word cock, you know?
Yeah. He said cock, and then he goes to describe it like, I guess, like a child would.
Yeah.
And clearly doesn't know anything about that stuff, which is weird.
Yeah, but see, I kind of love that because this one character has so much inside of him. It's like he lived on the surface at one point. His whole city got wiped out. He's saved by the Brotherhood of Steel. So he seems like he has this kind of commitment to what the Brotherhood of Steel represents. But then it's pretty much assumed that he's the one that hurt his friend so that they couldn't become a squire. And then he lets his the knight he's supporting die. That he tries to kill his friend. It's like he's really complex, but then he's also like childlike too, like you just said.
Yeah, I mean, he had this whole kind of like hero complex about the Brotherhood and being a part of that, and then it just gets shattered by Titus.
Yeah,
and then he goes back and forth. He begins to trust a little bit, and then he gets just broken again by when they find out, when his squire found out who he was, and then he goes back to lying again. So he's kind of going back between this like just childlike state because he keeps getting let down.
Yeah,
by life.
Yeah. But it's funny because the time that he doesn't get let down is when the people in the vault are giving him that vault treatment. Like they offer him a hot shower at one point, and he's like, "What's a hot shower?" Like he doesn't even have the idea that exists.
Yeah.
And then we get this great montage where he's like trying out the things in his little vault room, like a TV's on, and he takes a shower, and I forget what else he does, but it's all like a luxury.
Caviar. Like, how the hell do they have that?
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute! It's the fish eggs from the lady.
Oh
God!
Oh God!
Oh, well, okay. That's the most horrific thing in the episode now.
Well, but did you think that those fish are actually the gulpers?
Could be, because we do see a gulper outside or in the tank. I couldn't tell what was going on there. Was that like an underwater area, or was that like a water area in the lab?
I feel the exact same way. Like it could just be like a tank and it's in the tank, but I thought it was dead too because it just kind of like bumped its head against the glass.
Yeah, it did. It could have been as observing or something. I don't know. I couldn't tell if that was like a lake outside and it just happened to be there, or captured in there, really.
Yeah, same here. I wasn't really sure what was going on with it, but I was like, oh shit, it's one of those things. And I was thinking that, like, what I was taking from this show was that there's mutations of things, but that a lot of stuff is derived from human biology, and that's how they create a lot of the things. And so I was thinking, like, maybe she gave birth to baby gulpers that would grow up to be big size.
Maybe,
yeah.
I mean,
So,
the games kind of hint that they're just mutated creatures, but I mean, the human intervention aspect makes it a lot more interesting.
Yeah, and they have to come from somewhere. I know that there was a mutated bear so far, and the rad roaches are big cockroaches and stuff, but some of these other creatures, maybe they're human engineered,
Yeah.
I don't know. So I guess kind of like the last thing, there's two other things, right? We're going back to the ghoul, and this is that scene you were talking about before. So he gets captured by some people that claim to be the law of the wasteland, and he gets brought to this one guy named Sorrel Booker, who seems, I put in the tag, the ghoul meets Sorrel Booker, but I think he actually knows him, right? That was your take on it too?
Seems like they've met before, yeah.
Yeah. Now, did you recognize that actor that was playing Sorrel?
I did not.
Okay, he's one of my favorites because he's one of those guys that, like, HBO is just like, okay, you're going to just be in everything of ours. And so he's in Boardwalk Empire. He's in, he plays a very important part in the first season of True Detective. He is in Billions, which is not HBO, but it's Showtime. He's in a ton of shit.
Okay. So
and
he's like a cable guy. Got it.
He's what?
He's like a premium cable show guy.
Yes. But the reason why they pick him is because he's so good. And in this, he's kind of like I don't know, like he's trying to be like a president or something, right?
Yeah, president of the government.
Oh, there you go. Right. And then the ghoul and him have kind of a back and forth. And I think that it's almost alluded to that the ghoul is looking for someone. I thought it was his wife at first. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought so too, but I'm like, wait a minute. There's no. I got the implication that he's looking for Moldaver because for some reason, but right. I'm like, wait a minute. They're not going to make some thing that like Moldaver is his wife or something. And thankfully, it's not it because that doesn't make sense. But yeah, apparently, they had met previously. Before the bombs dropped, which is interesting. And I'm assuming that she was cryogenically frozen at some point, and that's why she still looks as she does. But as to what her goal is, I do not know.
I mean, I feel like where they are in Vault 4, what's the name of the city that got destroyed? It's called like Shady Sands or something?
Shady Sands. Yeah, I think it's Shady Sands.
Yeah. So Shady Sands, I feel like that and the vault were probably like close to each other, and for whatever reason, like she had some kind of power there, whether in the vault itself or in Shady Sands, or maybe that's even where she has power, and they're like really close to where she is right now in the present day of the show. And now we're just basically going to get like how she's connected to Cooper and how she's connected to the world ending. But I think that she plays some kind of part in the actual bombs dropping. What do you think?
See, that's what I don't understand, because it made it seem like the group that she's a part of in the past is the ones that are against Vault-Tec and the end of the world. So that's why I'm confused here. And also, I can't also not point out the references to the New Republic of California. There seems like a very, very propaganda related items in the classroom that Lucy looks at, and you see it. So I think that's involved somewhere too here, and that's probably what her affiliation is probably that.
The New Republic of California.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about, unfortunately.
So in the show, in that last scene, because this is the very last scene with Cooper in the past, he's going to have a meeting with people that are against Vault-Tec. It's like his friend, right? They're like anti-Vault-Tec.
They're the people that are trying to expose Vault-Tec and what they're doing and trying to facilitate the end of the world to increase their profit margins.
Okay. So so that actually kind of makes more sense, right? Because she's the head of the Raiders in the beginning of the show, And Kyle McLaughlin has some kind of significance too. And it kind of seemed that she might be against the Vaults in the present day too. So, that's interesting.
Yeah. So the question is that what does Lee Bold ever want? Why did she need Kyle McLaughlin? What was Lucy's mom doing? What happened to her? Because that's how they got into the vault, was with her armband. Is she alive somewhere? What's going on with that? And then how's it all tied together? How did all the characters come together at the end here? And that's it.
Okay. Well, yeah, that kind of brings us up to the last 2 episodes. Brian, I was considering, since we just finished X-Men 97, we're going to go record that now. I was thinking maybe if you want to do the next 2 episodes back to back and just kind of wrap up Fallout too.
Sure. Yeah. And then the next week we'll have, we'll be on to Star Wars.
Hell yeah. Yeah. It's a good time for Star Wars fans. There's some fun stuff coming on the horizon for that. But shit. Yeah. There might be like a buffer of time between the boys. And what we could do is do the Star Wars thing and then do the boys.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah, we'll work it out. But anyway, was there anything else you wanted to say about this episode?
No, but now I'm excited. I can watch both episodes back to back. I don't have to wait. I mean, this is the time where I don't like the thing. The week to week is when it's like the end of the season. There's a direct, cliffhanger.
Yes.
Then I'm okay with binging.
Yes, like when you're edging on a show and you're like, just let me finish.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, and then all your little fish come out and eat you. Cool.
Yes.
All right, well, that's it. On that note, we're going to wrap this episode up. If you guys have not subscribed, please do. And you can leave a comment too. And we will talk to you guys next week for the finale of Fallout.